Live! I have to move my chair around. This is RockSim Live. Thank you for being here today. Today is a very special day. We're going to give away a Nike Hercules kit. Yeah, let me talk about something else, and I'll talk about this in just a sec. But it's a very special day. I am a little bit behind here. So welcome again. My name is Tim Van Milligan. This is RockSim Live. This is where we talk about RockSim, RockSim Pro, and the Launch Visualizer. If you have a question on how to use any of those or designing rockets or anything, go ahead and put it in the comments. We got the chat running. So that's what we're here to talk about, is the stuff that you want to learn. So go ahead and send in your questions, because nobody's asked any questions over the last week. So I need something to talk about. As you check in, go ahead and say hello in the chat, and I want to recognize you and say, hey, you're participating today, and then also where you're watching from. So far we have Chris's Rocketry and More from Golden Valley, Arizona. And Zero's G Prince, he says, let's go. Purple Haze says, David from Michigan, getting ready to leave for Florida for the holidays. Oh, I'm jealous. I have in-laws in Florida. We'll just leave it at that. We have Rick DeFosses from New Hampshire. We have somebody from Miami, Florida, and I can't pronounce. Ibanini Salancito from Miami, Florida. Stuart LaFon from Vermont. David Sensel Whiskey, and he says Brian. What did I say, David? It's Brian from South Bend, Indiana. Sturko3, he says, flying your katana, but its margin is 3.33 overstable. Is that normal for a katana? We can talk about that one as we go on here today. Christopher Jesuits, he says hi. And Christopher says he's from Hamburg, New York, and Gary Crowell is here. He says hey, and MOB Rockets from Mesa, Arizona. So we got two from Arizona. Yeah, so the big news is we are going to give away today. Oops, I just dropped my Nike Hercules. And a little piece fell off. I'll have to glue that back on. So this is the kit as it is built. We released this just 2 days before Thanksgiving. I think it was November 26th, and yeah, we've been having a lot of fun with it and doing a lot of marketing for it. And one of our marketing things was to say, hey, let's give away a kit. So we're going to give away a kit valued at $500, and this was our Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal. It was a promotion, so you had to send us an email between Friday and Monday at midnight, and then you're in the drawing for this kit. And we've got 211 people that are in the drawing, so one person is going to win. Everybody else, we've already sent you a coupon for $7 off on a t-shirt, and also a coupon for 1 month of the Launch Visualizer from our website. So let me show you my screen here. Hopefully my microphone is working. Nobody's complaining, so is the microphone working? So let me show you the t-shirts. So we got a brand new t-shirt design. So if you go to apogeerockets.com and you go to shop, and you come down here, it's still loading the images, to wearables, and you go to t-shirts, and then you have to pick your size. So, you know, say you're a large. And then you have to pick what decals you want, and you can do front and back. So here is the front decals that you can choose, and this is the new one down here at the bottom. The new Nike Hercules decal that our graphic artist Ogden made, so thank you Ogden for that. So you can put that on the front as a big decal right here. And then you can also choose, instead of a big one, you know, you say, hey, I want just like a pocket size. So you can choose a small one, and that one will go there. And you can do the same for the back of the shirt, you know, a big or a small. You can mix and match. So that's, you know, what the t-shirts are. So that you got your $7 coupon, so go ahead and use that. But what we wanted to do today, and we'll get right to it so that we can get into RockSim, is to give away the free kit. So I was trying to figure out how to do this. And so I made a spreadsheet of all the people that entered. And if I scroll down here, you can see there are 200, it says 212, but number one is the header, so there's actually 211. So we're going to do a random number generator, and we're going to pick a number corresponding to a name, and then that person will win. So now, right now they're sorted by alphabetically by first name. So it's just kind of random. And I won't resort again. And what I'm going to do is, I've got a phone here. Okay, so I got my phone, and on my phone I got an app that's it's a spinner wheel. Let me see if I can give you the spinner camera. Okay, so here's the spinner wheel. Okay, and so I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it by number. So I'm going to do like it's going to be a 3-digit number. 001 would be this first person, Alan Summers. In fact, let me delete this column here. Delete row. Okay, so Alan Summers is 001, and then number 211 is Yves LaFrance. You can't see my screen, so you don't know what's going on. All you see is the spinner wheel, which went blank. So I'm going to draw 3 numbers. Okay, so there it is. So I'm going to rotate the spinner, and this is the first number. First number is a 2. Ooh, okay. Everybody see that, so I'm not cheating. Okay, so now the second number, I can only do 200 through 211. And that is also 0 and 1. So I got to remove the number 2 from my spinner here. Okay, so this, how do I do this? Nope, not that. Change group or edit group. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the number 2. Okay, so now I got 0 and 1, so it's going to be, so we're in the 200s. Let me go to my other screen. So here's what you can see. It's one of these people right here. All right, so 0 and 1. So who's it gonna be? Let's rotate. Let me switch it over here so you know that I'm not cheating. Okay, let's rotate. And who's it gonna be? It's a 1. Okay. So we got 2 people, William Merchant or Yves LaFrance. It's going to be one of the lucky winners. So again, It's going to be a 0 or 1. Okay, last number. Is 0. So it is William. Let me show you my screen so you know that I'm not cheating. Is William Merchant. And what the other thing that we did was we asked people to write what excites them about the kit. So William wrote, the Nike Hercules kit is an awesome combination of functioning mission staging combined with an airframe large enough to support the scaling details that make for an impressive display model. So congratulations, William, you are our winner. We have your email. We'll email you and we'll get your mailing address where you want it sent. You might want to give it away to somebody. We don't know that. Maybe you want it for yourself, maybe you want it for a friend. So congratulations, that's awesome for him. For everybody else, the consolation prize was, you get a $7 off coupon from an Apogee t-shirt, and it's customizable, so you can choose which design that you want. They're all great designs. So there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different designs you can choose from. Cool. Terry Wheelock's World says, I want a Nike Hercules. And Will is here. He is in the channel. He says, thanks, Tim. It's mine, all mine. Well, congratulations, William. That is awesome. Let me disconnect this other camera here because it's putting a power drain on my computer. All right, so we are back to RockSim. So if you are brand new to RockSim, you get it here at the Apogee website, so it's apogeerockets.com. If you go to the home page, you'll see it right here in the banner bar, and it's a scrolling banner bar, so why is it not scrolling? Yeah, so I just clicked on subscribe to the newsletter, which is not a bad thing to do, subscribing to the newsletter. Everybody's a winner when you subscribe to the newsletter. We have 50 free plans that you get right away, so you can download them, and it's actually in a 2-volume set. There's a volume 1 and a volume 2. It's a big PDF. If you printed it out, I think there might be both close to 200 pages. There's a lot of information there. We collected all of our plans and put them in one spot. So if you subscribe to the newsletter, you get that. And if you're a subscriber, what you get when you subscribe to the newsletter, there's actually two things. The first one is the newsletter. And if you go to How-To and Guides and you come down here to the PicoFlight newsletter, this menu here shows the last 3 issues that we released. So 640 we just released on Tuesday of this week. And this one is, like, you can see this is like magazine format. This is like professionally done. And we've been doing this since the year 2000. It's a PDF, you can print it out. This one has an article about choosing air start electronics, not only for the Nike Hercules, but for all of 2-stage rockets, like high-powered 2-stage rockets. What are you going to need for that? So that's the main article, and then if you scroll through it, this one also had a free plan in it. Here's the free plan. The free plan was called the Cloud of Bats, and this was a design that our designer Martin McKee made. It's a rocket with parasite gliders, and the parasite gliders are shaped like a bat, each one. And you can have as few as 3 on your rocket, or as many as 24. We launched it with 12, and it was spectacular. And it took several hours to get all the bats back, because they flew off in all different directions. and we gave, it was on our Halloween weekend, and there was a big crowd of kids there, so we gave out free candy to every kid that brought a bat back to us. It was a lot of fun. So, the free plan includes, the bill of materials, a story about the bat, and then, you get some blueprints, you get photos, more drawings, and then all the templates, and there's actually, a fin alignment marking guide, and the decals that you can print out. If you have, you can print out your own decals and put them on the bat, so your rocket looks like the one that we made. It's a lot of fun. So that's the newsletter, and then also, as part of being a subscriber, you also get our advanced construction videos. So every other week we put out an advanced construction video, and again, if you come out here to how-to and guides, come down here to advanced construction videos, you can see the last 3 videos that we did. And I'm in a series right now on what tools do you need for the various skill level rockets. So if you're building a skill level 3, you would go to video number 422, because that's the title, is what tools do you need for building a skill level model rocket. This should be a skill level 3 or 2, maybe it's 2. So that's skill level 2. Skill level 3 will be next Tuesday. I've already filmed it, it's already edited, and it's ready to go. So when you subscribe to the newsletter, you get the Pika-Fly newsletter, plus you get the advanced construction videos, plus we give away, that's, if you're looking for free stuff and discounts, that's the only place that we give them. So you have to be a subscriber to that. And we also make announcements on new rocket kits when they're available, like when we released the Nike Hercules. That was where we informed people that it was ready to go. So there's over 15,500 people that are subscribers. So why not? If it was a crappy newsletter, you probably would have heard people say, don't subscribe to that one, because all you get is spam. But we don't spam, we give you good stuff. That's just our policy, is, if we're going to send you an email, it's going to have something pertinent in it that's going to help you become a better modeler. So anyway, we're here to talk about RockSim. So again, if you go to how-to and guides, come down here to software. This is where you can get some basic information, downloading a free 30-day trial. You can get the version history and the system requirements. We released a new version of RockSim 11, also the week of Thanksgiving. So that's been out a week now, and you can see the fixes that we released in there. Not only RockSim version 11, but also RockSim Pro also got an update to it. So, so we got a couple of questions. So the first question on RockSim was from Sturk03, and he says, I'm flying near Katana, but its margin is 3.33 overstable. Is this normal for a Katana? Alright, so first, what is a Katana? I'll show you here on our website. You start typing in the name in the search bar, and then you just come down here, and this is what it looks like. I'm going to show this screen here so you can see what I'm seeing. Okay, so if you click on the image, it should, there we go, it should bring up a big image so you can see what it looks like. It's a big rocket, has a 54mm engine mount in it, flies off a rail. You can see it's 4 inches in diameter, over, I don't know how tall it is, 74 inches tall, so it's well over 6 feet tall. So let's open that design up in RockSim. So I'm actually in RockSim Pro, but for designing rockets, they're the same, RockSim and RockSim Pro. I just have RockSim Pro open. So I'm going to say open, and should open up on my computer. I have the cloud of bats here. I think the last time we talked about the cloud of bats. Let me go here to applications. Where's my applications? And then you go to RockSim Pro, and then in your applications folder you'll find designs, and it's an Apogee rockets. Okay, so now we're looking for Katana. So here's Katana. So we'll open that up, and so he said, you know, right now it has a margin of 3.76. But when you put a motor in there, let's throw a motor in there. So to put a motor in a rocket, you come up here, then you just say choose an engine, and I'm going to choose, I don't know, J275 white, and I'll say 14-second delay, click OK, and then OK. So I just loaded the engine. You can see now it has the engine back here, and now it has a margin of 2.15. So the question is, even if it was 3.33, is that margin okay? And the answer is that is normal. Nothing to be concerned about. Being overstable is not a huge issue. It is far preferable to be overstable than unstable. Unstable means you don't know where the rocket's going to go. So in RockSim, the margin can be, it usually says it right behind it. It says overstable. Right now it's not saying stable, but that's what it is. But if it's unstable, it will also say it right here. You do not want your rocket to be unstable. Stable is, we put from a stability margin of 1 to, I don't know what it goes up to, because right now it's 2.15, so it's greater than 2. I can't remember. We could probably figure that out by moving the fins. So if I edit the fins, so you can see right now, here's my fins, it says 2.15, and if I move those fins forward, so I'm going to take this slider bar here, I'm going to slide it to the right, and what that's going to do is it's going to slide these fins forward, and you're going to move that center of pressure. So the margin is the distance between the center of gravity, which is that symbol there, and the center of pressure, which that symbol there, divided by, so it's that distance divided by the tube diameter, which is 2.15. When it gets closer or further away, then you're going to have where it says overstable. So let me make this small again so you can see that. So if I move it to the right, you'll see the margin is changing. So that means the center pressure is getting closer to that. If I go too far, it's going to change to unstable. So right now it's gone marginally stable. We don't want it to be, marginally stable is better than unstable. So there are some rockets that you can fly that are marginally stable, particularly the ones that are short. Something that's long like this, typically you want it to be stable where it doesn't say anything. Eventually it's going to go to unstable, and we do not want to fly it like that. If I move it to the other direction, let's make this a negative number, so let's make it -4. See, now I'm at a margin of 3.06, and it says it's overstable. This is okay to fly it with it overstable. So what does that mean? If you go to the flight profile, you'll see that the rocket's going to arc into the wind. So how far can you arc into the wind? So I'm going to leave it like this with the fins hanging off the back, and we'll launch it and we'll just see what it does. And so this is where you have to determine, can you live with a rocket that's overstable? And there's a lot of things that you can do here. So normally you can live with this. So we've already loaded a motor. Let's launch it. Okay, so this is going to be It has a 48-inch parachute, and I'm not sure what this other one is, but I'm sure it's probably the smaller one. So we'll deploy that one at Apogee, and this one at an altitude, let's call it 600 feet. Okay, so that's our parachute, our starting state. Let's make this a 96-inch launch rod, and it's 1 degree from vertical, and it's aimed to the west. So you can see, imagine this is a compass, and it's going towards the west. Under our launch conditions, I think this is a pretty high altitude, so this might be Colorado Springs. We'll leave it like that, and we'll go ahead and do a flight profile and see what it looks like. While it's doing that, it's loading the maps right now. So okay, so this is our Colorado Springs launch site from Cosrocks. They launch at a school. Oops, it went behind. Okay, so kind of getting the lay of the land. We have a school right here, we have a road, and the rocket is right there next to the corner of that basketball court. Right now, north is the black arrow, so I'm going to swing it around so the black arrow is pointing up, so you kind of get a better feel for this thing. And I'll tilt it a little bit so we're not looking straight down on it. Alright, so now we'll just launch it and see what happens. So the rocket's going up, and it did arc a little bit. I don't remember what I set the wind at. When it gets to the apogee, I'm going to pause it. And there'll be a dot right there when it gets to apogee. So we're getting close right there. So that's the small parachute came out. So now I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I lost the rocket, but so see this green line? That green line, it goes way up in the sky. So the rocket started right there, followed this trajectory, and it stopped right. I stopped it right there at the top. The green dot indicates to me that the rocket went pretty straight. If the dot color would have been red, now that's bad. That means that the rocket started arcing too much. And the way we figure that out is we built in a little feature here called the weathercocking cone. I'm going to turn that on. And so, I don't know if you can see it. Let me make it a little darker here. Okay, so now you can see it. So, if the apogee point of the rocket is inside of this cone, you can see if I rotate it around, it's cone. That means that the rocket stayed within the cone and it went mostly straight up. Now if the rocket would have arced outside of that cone, now that would have been a little bit more critical. The rocket is still flying fairly straight. It's on a predictable path, and that's why overstable is not so bad, because it's at least predictable. And if you can predict where it's going to go, you can make changes to it. So let me do a little. Let's say we launch it instead of at 1 degree, we launch it at 21 degrees. And just repeat that same launch, but now we're angling the rod 21 degrees, and it's actually towards the west, and I think our wind is coming out of the west, and we'll see what it does this time when it does its simulation. Okay, so again, it's sitting on the launch pad. You can see the weathercocking cone. Let me swing it back to the north. Let me zoom out. I want to see the top of the cone. If I can see the top of the cone, it kind of gives me an estimate of how high it's going to go. I have to zoom out. There's the top of the cone. Okay, so I know the rocket is going to be, it's going to stay in the cone. So there's the top. And let's see if it stays in the cone or if it flies out. Oops, I zoomed in again. Wrong button, this button. Watch it. Okay, so the rocket, okay, so look, see the trajectory now? I am definitely outside the cone. And it's going really far over, and I guarantee you when it gets to the apogee point, it's going to be a red dot, because red signifies that it's outside of the cone. So now in this case, I would not fly this rocket, and it's not because it's overstable, it's because I angled it too far. Sometimes you can get a rocket that weathercocks really hard into the wind, and you can make adjustments for that. Instead of angling it straight up, you can angle it with the wind, so when it weathercocks, it will go back towards the wind, and you could probably get it into that cone by just angling it. So overstable is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something you just want to be careful of, making sure you know where your rocket is going to come down. So on this rocket, you can see our drogue parachute opened right there, the rocket came down, and then when it got right here, there was a little dog leg. That indicates that the big parachute came out, and now it's coming down a lot slower. And I can also tell which way the wind is going, because the rocket will always drift with the wind when the parachute is opened. So right here, like this is the furthest, this is my ground track, this red line right here. So the furthest point was right here, and then from there on it was going this way, so that tells me my wind has to be blowing this way. So there's a lot of information right here. Alright, so hopefully that answers Sturk's question. We have Carhut 12, he says greetings from Lexington, South Carolina. G-Force Films from Henderson, Nevada. Brian says, I'm new to RockSim. Can I use it on an iPhone? The answer, Brian, is no, but that's where the launch visualizer comes in. What I just showed you was the launch visualizer, and we have a version. I need a new window. That if you go to rocksim.com, you can run your simulations on your iPhone through a web browser on your iPhone. So what you see here on the screen when it comes up is what you will see on your iPhone. So you can run simulations on it, but you can't design rockets on it. But there's a lot of designs. I'm in the administration part of RockSim. Page is unresponsive. I'm just like, anyway. So you go to rocksim.com. You can try it out like right now if you want. There's some free designs that are already listed there. If you need more designs, and, if you're not yet ready to start designing your own rockets, just go to the Apogee website, find a kit that you like, and then come down here, like near the top of the page, you'll say RockSim file. When you click on that, it'll jump you to the bottom of the page where you can download the file. And once you download it onto your computer, then you can upload it back up into the cloud, into the launch visualizer. And the reason we do it this way is because once you run the simulation, it's your simulation, so you're not going to be sharing it with other people. So you need your own space on our servers to store your simulations. So that's why you have to download and then re-upload, because everybody has different files that they're running, and so we can't mix them all together into one large database. It would just be like so confusing, because You'd fly a rocket and you'd come back a day later and somebody else has changed all the simulations on you. That would be a nightmare. But a very good question. Dennis Perrin, he says, hello from Alamosa, Colorado. Cool. Dennis, you guys have a new club out there, and we don't know where that launch site is or the website for the club. And if you could send that to us, we'd like to put it into RockSim Pro, or the launch visualizer. I'll try to see if I can get it to work. There we go, I got it going here. Okay, so here's what the RockSim launch visualizer looks like. If you put it on your phone, it's going to be long and skinny like this. But if you're on a laptop like I am, you can see much more of the screen. But what we have, Dennis, we have all the launch sites for, that we could find from all the various clubs. And I know that there's a club out in Alamosa. Not Alamosa. Oh, we got the one in Alamosa. I was thinking Grand Junction. Sorry. Yeah, so all these thumbnails are the launch sites. So there is a launch site down here in Alamosa. And I just found out yesterday that your club right there, San Luis Valley Rocketeers, is going to be hosting the National Sport Launch again next summer. So that's going to be cool. Will Marchand says he's from Virginia. He says, thanks for the raffle. Garrett Cromwell says, looks like you need a new phone. I just need a new screen protector. And I have one at home. It's just I'm too lazy because it's only got one little small crack on it, and it's fine. Let's see. Okay, so Christopher writes, can you build an Estes Super Neon in RockSim accurately? Okay, so let's first, what does the Estes Super Neon look like? Super Neon. Okay, so there is what the Super Neon looks like as soon as it comes up. Alright, so it's a tube fin rocket with fins on the outside. Alright, so this is vaguely familiar to me. I swear we did this one before. But we can do it again. Let me save this. I'm going to slide it over here off my screen and we'll design a Super Neon. And I have no idea how big this thing is. Let me see how big it is. Since we're designing a rocket. I'm looking on my computer here on the other monitor. See if I can find some dimensions for this thing. Okay, so the length is 35 inches, the diameter is 1.64, so that makes it a BT60. Ooh, look what I found. So I went to rocketreviews.com. That's where I found this information. And come down here, and it says RockSim design file. So let's open it up and see what it looks like. So I'm going to download this to my computer. Download the Estes Super Neon XL.rkt. Okay, so it opened the file and it put it in my downloads folder. So let me get rid of that screen again, and I'm going to go to my downloads folder, That's this super neon. So I'm just going to take it and drag it right here. It's asking me if I want to save my designs, and I say no. Okay, so here is what this design looks like. And let's look at it in 3D. Okay, so it has the tube fins, which you can see. It has a nose cone. Let's get some dimensions here. So 1.64, 34 inches long, which is, I forget what it was. It says 35, so this is pretty close, 34.8. So that's a little rounding error. But what it doesn't have is the fins on the tubes. So you can see, if I can zoom in here, can you see that? Is that working? There's fins on each of the fins, on each of the tube fins. So let's see if we can add it. So let's first look at the design components. So what this tube is, or this rocket is made of, has a nose cone, and it has a body tube, and this is kind of like one of the tubes. That's the front body tube, and then it has a rear body tube, and it has a tube coupler in the middle, and there's a parachute right there. And then if we expand this one right here, you can see that there are tube fins right here, and those are special types of fins. And then there's also a motor mount. What it's missing is those fins on the outside of the tube fins. So that's probably the question that you're asking, is how do you add those? And let me see, there might be two different ways. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to add those fins out here on the back of the rocket. And so I'm going to select, so I have to add them to that. Because I don't think, yeah, so if I can't add anything to the tube fins because it doesn't allow me to add any other components. So if I add them here, now if I add a fin, what it's going to add the fin directly to this tube. So I need to add a pod. So I'm going to add a pod to this tube, and I'm going to move the pod like right the location. A pod is a collection of parts. So, I'm going to add a pod. So right now here's the pod. See this symbol right here? That's the symbol for a pod. That's not the center of gravity. Center of gravity is here. So I want to move the location. I want to move it back. I want to like the front, where the front of the pod is going to attach, and then I want to move it off to the edge. So I need to move it to the radial position. So I need to know. Okay, so right now it's automatically calculating the radial distance. I'm going to turn that off and turn that off. And if I move this slider, you'll see that I'm moving the position. So I want to move it right to the edge of the tube. Let me see it from the back end, because this tube, the high point of the tube might not actually be right there. So yeah, see what's going on is I need to put it like right there actually. So I'm going to change the radial angle. So I'm going to make that 30 degrees. So it's right there, and then I need to move it out a little bit more. Okay, so let me zoom in. See, I'm a little bit off of the tube, so I'm a little bit too far. 2.47, let's try that. That's pretty close. 6.5. All right, so that is going to be where my fin is going to be attached. And so let's go back to the general tab, and we'll call it the fin attachment pod, and I'll click OK. Alright, so now I'm going to attach, so here's my fin pod, a fin attachment pod, and I'm going to attach a fin to that. So then I can come up here and create wrong kind of fin. So this fin, let me see, where'd my drawing go? Okay, so you can see these fins. The fin that I chose was a simple trapezoid fin, and this is not a simple trapezoid because, well, it is a trapezoid, but it's not oriented the way we want. So we're going to have to do this one as a custom fin. So to do a custom fin, let me cancel out of this, cancel that. We're going to do a custom fin. So this will allow us to change that shape better. So we're going to attach it right there. We're going to go to plan points. It's going to look kind of funny here because we're actually not at that point there. So we're going to go to the plan points. Holy cow. It don't like that. I bet you I could do it. So these numbers are like really tiny. These are really huge, and these are, well, they're actually huge. Yeah, okay. There's a different way to do this, but I think if we use just a simple fin, I think it can do it. Cancel. So I'm going to go a simple fin. I'm going to cancel that, and let's make it one fin because we have to do one fin at a time. Fin 1, and the fin count is 1. Tip cord length, let's make it 1 inch. Root cord, 1 inch. Sweep, semi-span, let's go 3 inches. Okay, so we've got 3 inches there, and we can do the sweep like that. See, it's not quite right because it should be flat on the bottom. See, like that. So that does not look like our fin. Okay, so, but it gives us a fin. So here's the first way. If it was a normal fin, I'd change this to balsa wood. Where's balsa wood? Balsa. And make it 1/8. And so if I look at it from the back, you can see that it's not coming out the right way. So I need to change the radial angle. I think I make it 30 degrees. See, that's perfect. Okay, so that is the first fin. Let's look at it in 3D again. Is that close enough? I'm not exactly sure how big this fin is. I think it needs to be a little bit bigger. That's better. Let's change the color to red. And here we'll make this one red. Click OK. Okay, so we got one red fin. Alright, so now click OK. We have one fin attached to one of the. So then you would have to do that. How many? There were 6 fins on here? Yeah, we have to do it 6 more times. So the way to cheat is to find this pod and duplicate it. So we're going to do a copy, and then we're going to come back up here to the body tube and paste. And it pasted a second pod. This is going to be fin 2. Let's change the name. change the radial position. So I'm going to look at it from the base and go to the radial position tab, and let's go that's 90 degrees. Nope, I'm going to do 60. 90 degrees. You see, now it looks good. So now I got two fins, and then I do it again. Paste. And then edit that one. You can see it's back up here, and I could go the other direction. Minus 30. Click OK. So I got 3, and I need to do 3 more. So you get the idea. You can do it that way. So another way to do it is, let's save this. So you go File, Save as, Super Neon XL tube fins. Hit Save. So what I'm interested in is the center of pressure and the center of gravity. You know, I'm going to do it 2 different ways, and the comparison is going to be, you know, how does this change? So let's add one more pod here. And actually, I need to add 3. Paste and edit that one. Go to radial position. So this is going to be minus 90. Click OK. Paste. Radial position. Swing it around here. So this is going to be minus 140. 90 and 60 is 150. Should be 150. No, minus 150. There we go. And then the other one, the final one. Oops, I didn't want that. Paste. 150 degrees. Okay, so now, this what I'm looking for is that center pressure, where that is. So now I save that. Okay, so now let's open up that original design and let's do it a different way. Okay, so now we're back to our original design. This time I'm going to take these tube fins, I'm going to delete them. Delete, let me see how big these are first before I delete them. They're BT60 and they are, how long? 5.75 inches. Okay. Highlight those tubes and hit delete, say yes. Okay, so now I'm going to add those tube fins, but this time I'm going to do them as a pod. So I'm going to add the pod from the base of the owning part, 5.75 inches. So my tube is going to start right there, and this is a tube pod, if I can spell. Click OK. And now we're going to add a body tube to that. And it was a BT60. And it was 5.75 inches long. There it is. And why did they put it there? It should be back here. I'm going to call it an external body tube. So if it's right there, I need to move my pod. And I want it to be 0. Okay. All right, so I put it there. Now let's add a fin to this, and we have to basically do it the same way. I thought it was going to be different, but it's exactly the same as what we did. But one thing to notice is we added a tube here on the outside of the rocket, but it doesn't see it as a tube fin. It just sees it as a body tube, and body tubes don't, body tubes by themselves don't create lift. It's only when we call them a tube fin that they create lift. And because of that, our center of pressure is way up here. You know, before it was way down here. We'll move it back when we add the external fins. So to add, I thought I could add a fin directly to that, and I can. Let me do a custom fin. I guess I can. In fact, now I can do, this is a custom fin. Yes, this is a custom fin. Let's change the fin count to 1. And let's go plan point. See, now this is how you would get the shape that you actually want. I'm going to move this point. Come on. Let's make that 2 inches. Okay, so that's much better. See, that looks more like that fin. So I'm trying to make that fin right there. Yeah, it's closer. Yeah, so that's how we'll make it. Okay, so I have the fin, and do I like the position? I think it needs to be a little longer. But you have to play with it to get it the way you want it to look. That's not right. I want it to look like that. But you get the idea. You'll just tweak the shape until it looks correct. Let's make this one. Let's make it orange. 2D color orange. Okay, so there's our fin on the tube. So now notice that the center of pressure moved back, which is what we wanted it to do. And now from here, you would go and duplicate the pods and place them around the perimeter like we did before. So I'll do a copy, come up here to the body tube and paste. So it pasted it right directly on top, so now I need to edit the pod. So we'll call this tube pod 2. And we'll go to radial position, uncheck those, let's see it from the base, and I think we need to make it 60 degrees. Oops, what happened? I made it, what did it do? How did I get to 120? 60. Okay, and then we'll go here, paste again. Oops, I missed it. To get this little menu, you do a right click on the body tube and do paste and edit the next tube. Call this one number 3, radial position. This one will be minus 120. Okay. You can see that the center pressure moves back each time. So what it really tells us is that these fins have a greater contribution to the stability of the rocket than the tube fins do. Paste. 60. Paste. This should be for number 5. Oops, what happened? This is weird. Try that again. Save my changes? No. Oh, radial angle. What was I doing? I was changing this. Oops, not minus 120, 120. Okay, and then finally we'll add the 6th one, paste, radial position, this would be 180 degrees, click OK. Okay, so here we can see our CP location is 31.1 inches. I think the other one was close. They're both going to be pretty close, so I would, either way you do it, it's going to work fine. But this way, this second way I did it, allows you to control the shape of the fins better, because I can use custom fins rather than using just regular trapezoidal fins. Anyway. So hopefully that answered the question of, can we make a super neon? And I'll save this one as super neon custom fins and hit save. Okay, so a lot more comments here. Terry Wheelock says, RockSim is the best. He also ordered a pizza and nobody's getting any. Kaleman says, how did your daughter's swimming thing go that you talked about in the last live stream? Let me put it this way. It didn't go well. However, she's Division I diver in college. So, I mean, that's the highest tier of divers. In that tier, she's on the bottom. So she's above Division III, but still not. She goes to a school in Texas, and they dive against big schools in Texas like SMU, University of Texas, Texas A&M, Rice. These are all big powerhouse schools, and University of Texas particularly, you know, they have Olympic divers. And so she's competing against those girls, those young women, and they are really good. She is learning humility. She's not happy about it, which she shouldn't be. You know, you always want to improve. But when you go against Olympic divers, it's tough. But you know, you got to remember, and I keep telling her, you know, the purpose of going to college for you is to get good grades and to finish your degree so that you can do what you want. And, you know, because what, other than the Olympics, there's not a lot of jobs out there for divers. Although there is, and it's easy to get a diving job. You can be a diving coach, or what she wants to do, she wants to take a gap year after she graduates, before she goes out and looks for an engineering job, because that's her degree, is in biomedical engineering. And she's doing good. She's doing really good in her classes, so she's got that going, and that's what I'm really proud about, because she's doing hard engineering. Biomedical engineering is not an easy engineering degree, because it's also mechanical and it's medical, and so you're combining them. So you got the math and you got the the biology part. But the one job she wants to do is she wants to work on a cruise ship. And on cruise ships, she wants to be an entertainer. And they do have divers that do high dives. And she can do all the dives. And for people on a cruise ship, they won't know if she's going in crooked or completely vertical, which you have to do when you are a collegiate diver. You got to go in perfectly straight. And if you're at an angle, you get deducted, and she's always at an angle. But for cruise ship passengers, they won't be able to tell. And she'll be entertaining to them, and she'll get paid to do diving. So that's what she wants to do. So I say, go ahead, do it. If that's your dream. She only wants to do it 1 year. She's got friends that were on her diving team last year that are doing that, and they've talked her into it. And she said, it's so much fun. And you get to be in warm places with beautiful scenery and wonderful people. So that's what she's going to do. So, any other questions? We're actually overtime again. Kelman says, I wish I could get my level 1 certification. And he says you have to be 18 or older. Technically you can be 16 and get a level 1 certification. So both the NAR and the EEE have, they call them junior certification programs. And I would look into that. Basically you have to find a mentor in your club that will guide you through the process, and you can launch as long as they're around you when you're launching. So you have a mentor, so you can fly those big motors, but you'll just have somebody with you as you fly them. So look into that program if you're 16 or older. If you're 18, then you can go directly to level 1 certification. And once you turn 18, after you get your junior level 1, it just automatically converts. So you don't have to do any extra work. So go ahead and do that. One last question. This is a good one. He says, question about two-stage rocket. Does RockSim automatically recheck stability after the boosters drop off? And the answer is yes. I could show you, but we're out of time. Like if it was a pod, you'll see here if I edit this pod, you can say this pod can be ejected during simulations. So let me go here to a side view. So right now that's the pod, the front of the pod, and you can see the center of pressure right there, and you can see the center position right here, 31.1. If I eject that pod, this number should change, and it did. So the center of pressure moved forward because we lost the fin. And it's the same if it was a strap-on booster pod. As it falls off, the center of pressure moves forward, and the center of gravity is actually going to move forward too, because the rocket back end got lighter in weight. Oh, you didn't see it. Desktop camera. So I ejected the pod. So here's my pod, and if I mark it as ejected, so I went from 31.1, and if I eject it, now I'm at 30.7. So that's what I wanted to show you. Sorry about that for not switching to the screen. Purple Haze says, thanks Tim, nice job on the Super Neon. Next time we gotta talk engines in RockSim 11. Okay, we can do that next time. So yeah, that's a good segue to, we gotta conclude this. So thank you for coming. There was a lot more viewers today, probably because we gave away the Nike Hercules to William Marchant. And so thank you for coming. I hope you learned something about RockSim, RockSim Pro, or the Launch Visualizer. They're all great programs. Each has its own use. If you want one to do everything, then RockSim Pro. But if you just on the field, then just the Launch Visualizer. And if you're just starting out, maybe just RockSim. Learn how to use RockSim, how to design rockets, then upgrade to RockSim Pro. And then you got everything. So that would be my recommendation. Makes a great Christmas present. The Nike Hercules also makes a great Christmas present. So if you didn't win, I hope that somebody does get you that Nike Hercules for Christmas. It would look so good under your tree. All right, so that's it for today. I'm going to give you a countdown and a launch. We will be launching tomorrow in Pueblo, and it looks like the weather's going to be nice for December, so that's great. And we will be back next Friday. Next Friday, if today is the, today is the 6th, so that will be the 13th. Same time, 2 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 4 p.m. on the East Coast. So let's go. So in 5, 4,